The day I was born wasn't a very happy day. My birth was really difficult to my mother. I was a large baby who didn't want to born. In a time with no epidurals, no cesarean sections, my mother suffered a lot. So she became partially deaf. Later on, as I was growing as a child, I wasn't an easy child. I wouldn't stay with anyone else. My mother had to quit her job to stay with me, to raise me. This was the repeated story that my mother told me about my childhood and my birth. I know that my mother loved me. But nevertheless, as I was growing and dealing with some anxiety issues and depression issues, with the help of therapy, I understood that I was carrying a heavy feeling about this. That was the feeling of unhealthy guilt. So, later on, I became a therapist myself, and I started to do some volunteer work in an HIV/AIDS organization, which supported people with those conditions. People were coming to me, bringing feelings of repentance, remorses, regrets, self-recrimination. They were angry with themselves. All these embedded with a heavy, unhealthy guilt feeling. My main mission with this group of people was to help them to release this unhealthy guilt. I helped them towards a path of self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, more inner peace. And this was a strategic intervention for them, either to deal with a chronic condition or with a fatal disease. Unhealthy guilt stays in the background of our minds. It disguises as a normal feeling. It isn't. But let's explore this feeling in our lives. Fernando Pessoa, the Portuguese poet, once wrote, "Each of us is guilty. Guilty of what we think, guilty of what we do." If I ask yourselves, who here feels some kind of guilt? Can you raise your hand? Many hands. But why? Why do we feel this guilt? For not being good enough? For not trying hard enough? For failing? What triggers this emotion in us? So, guilt often goes normalized in our minds as a non-issue. A non-issue. It is an issue. Is it guilt a human emotion, a moral compass, or something else? Nietzsche described guilt as the man's way to embody the obligations of society and religion. Guilt comes when we perceive that we broke some social norm, that we harmed someone, or that we failed expectations. Many times it's seen as a useless emotion. But at the same time, sometimes it serves adaptive function. So, as you can imagine, this is a very long debate. For centuries, philosophers, researchers, psychologists thought about this. In 2014, a major meta-study was done over this. And it was found out that sometimes guilt can help to regulate some symptoms and behaviors related to mental disorders. Wow! But at the same time, it can exacerbate those symptoms. What? So, this apparent contradiction shows us important information. Not all guilt is the same. Great names in psychotherapy, like Albert Ellis, Carl Rogers, Melanie Klein, among others, already had that idea, that not all guilt is the same. Some guilt can be a healthy motivator for change, if it is aligned with our values. But some guilt can be very harmful if it is aligned with the external pressures or unrealistic expectations. Guilt is often learned during our socialization, and it remains. There is a strong and profound impact of unhealthy guilt in our lives, in our minds, in our bodies, and we should be aware. Many studies now show there is a strong correlation between unhealthy guilt, especially when it becomes chronic or unresolved. It creates stress. It creates internal conflicts. It predisposes the body to inflammation. And by doing that, to a vast group of diseases, as well as to harmful behaviors. Once in a while, I work with people with oncological problems, helping with emotions. And what I do with them, because most of them, come with anger, sadness, fear. And many times, they also bring unhealthy guilt. What I do with them is to help them to work to an inner peace, to reduce any interior conflict. So, by doing that, and only by doing this, I can help these people to have a more positive mindset, which helps through the clinical treatment to a possible recovery, to a possible remission. The other group of people is the people that come, for instance, to quit smoking. Every time we identify unhealthy guilt present, we work on that. And by doing that, the change of the behavior is facilitated. We should be aware with unhealthy guilt. But what can we do? Well, first of all, be aware. We should be aware. We should look inside ourselves. We should self-observe. If there are events in our lives that for some reason we put some unhealthy guilt, stop. Look. Look in a non-judgmental way, and if possible, accept, forgive. Do whatever you can do to release the unhealthy guilt. Second, decide. Decide to be in confront with this unhealthy guilt feeling. We have to confront this feeling. Many times it's disguised as a normal guilt. We should confront it. Third, commitment. We should commit to have this attitude, because many times unhealthy guilt tries to come back. And we have to be vigilant. We have to observe. we have to tell us, to teach us a self-compassionate, a self-love attitude. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "The beginning of salvation is the knowledge of guilt." Let's keep this in mind. Let's watch. Let's be vigilant. We can transform a possible silent enemy, unhealthy guilt, into a powerful ally of our personal development, of our growth. I believe I did it with all the pain that I felt, with all the guilt that I felt for my mother's pain. And that's what I wish to all of us here, to carry less or none unhealthy guilt. Because by doing that, by transforming, by releasing it, you will feel more free. Don't doubt it. You will feel more free. Free to receive all the good things that life has to offer you. You will feel more free to deserve the inner peace, the happiness, the health, the success. Yes, you deserve all that. Thank you.